Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's Action Figure Showcase, we're going to take a look at all of my Bret the Hitman Hart figures. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. Welcome back. Like I said, today we are going to be looking at all of the Bret Hart figures in my collection, and Bret Hart was another one that kind of eluded me as a kid growing up, collecting his figures. I did have the Jakks Classic Superstars Bret Hart in his like kind of that quintessential black, like all black singlet. Obviously he's got the pink and white accents and everything, but I didn't have like accessories for him. There were a lot of Bret Harts that I tried tracking down, and that was one that I did have. I also, the first Bret Hart figure I ever got was the WCW Toy Biz line, and they took everyone's gimmick, like literally. So like Lex Luger came with a torture rack that you could put people on. Like it was a legitimate, like medieval looking torture rack. The Lionheart Chris Jericho was a lion tamer in the set. It came with, I'm pretty sure it came with a toy lion. And then Bret the Hitman Hart had a, I'm pretty sure he had like a gray pinstripe singlet and had like a leather jacket and was supposed to look like a hitman. But that, for the longest time, was the only Bret Hart I had. So once I got into the Mattel line and I saw all the different colors they were making of him, I was very, very excited. And we do get a lot, and there's never really a huge difference. And he's one of those guys that people don't love the head sculpts we get. I don't know if there's any single one that I'm like, yeah, this is the best Bret. I think they're all mediocre. Some are better than others, but we'll kind of look at that as we go through things today. So the first ones I did throw up here are the Elite 43. I think they were both in this, or yeah, I think it's Elite 43. This is the Hart Foundation look with him and Anvil here. The head is swapped out. So this head sculpt, I think we originally got it with the Elite set with like Hurricane and Goldberg, and then it was repainted a little bit to go with the Legends anvil that we just got, the new Hart Foundation look. I don't have the Ultimate Editions from Mattel Creations. They just weren't different enough for me to want to swap out. And the thing I liked the most was the head sculpts for Anvil, and I really like this Legends one, so I didn't mind just popping that on there and calling it good. He does have different arms to make his arms a little bit bigger. I didn't like the big Luke Harper. Not Luke Harper. He has Luke Harper biceps now, but I think before he had like the long Eric Rowan arms, and I didn't like those for Anvil. But then the Bret Hart's got that head sculpt that they kind of used for his younger looks with the kind of just slicked back hair. They both came with titles and I think sunglasses too, but I don't remember exactly. I'd fix these up a little bit. I would really like if they gave us Elites with them in the like light blue attire. We got basics of that, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if they just like wore it at a house show once. I would really like if we could get even just like some Chase Legends of these guys. There's a lot I feel like we could get re-released for Anvil. There's always stuff you can do for Bret Hart, so it'd be cool, I think, to get chases of that. But starting out today, the Hart Foundation. Okay, so besides the Hart Foundation Bret being first, these are not going to be in chronological order. I'm just kind of going to throw them all up here. My knowledge of Bret Hart attires is very slim. Like I said, to me, they all look the same. They've got subtle differences, but I couldn't name exactly where things are from. So I decided to put these two Ultimate Editions up because they're very, very different from each other. The first Bret Hart was pretty early on in the line, and I liked it a lot. I did really like the leg choice because they'd given him a little bit bigger legs. They're like the Stone Cold Steve Austin, not Stone Cold, the Ringmaster size legs. So they're a little bit bigger, which I liked. And then the torso obviously is the Ultimate Edition torso, but it's got, it's cut a little bit different on the newer one. And obviously I've got the jackets on them. On the newer one, they gave him a new torso, and it's got the butterfly joints and everything, but it's a little slimmer. And I, size-wise, liked the first one a little bit more, but the look was just a little more pleasing with the second time around on the all pink version. You can see the difference in the legs too. The legs on the pink one here are a lot skinnier than this one, which I don't know which one I feel is more accurate, but I think in general I don't like when they make guys real skinny, kind of like with Daniel Bryan. I do have his sunglasses down here. I just took it off so you can kind of see the head sculpts here. This is not the head sculpt. These head sculpts all came with the Monday Night Wars Bret, and I kind of like the hair for those quite a bit. The likeness still is just I'm just not sure about. I think I do like these head sculpts. I feel like I've seen a lot of people kind of say the same, where that was a decent head sculpt. Maybe not for like Attitude or early Attitude, New Gen Bret, but a little bit younger look for Bret. But this was the splatter paint attire. So in here you can see how this torso is cut, and it's kind of like pointy on the sides, versus this one here, which is slimmer. Like, I think it looks a little more pleasing aesthetically. I wish Bret in general was a little bit bigger, but they have the proportions kind of tend to go in waves, where sometimes they'll make guys a little bigger, and then they'll retool them, make them a little skinnier. But I don't have a huge preference between these two figures. I like them both for different reasons. I do prefer the non-drop down hips, so that one gets some points there. But wanted to throw these two Bret Ultimate Editions up. I think we still have the Attitude Era Ultimate to look at as well. But moving on. Next up are a couple more recent Brets, and first off the bat, I don't remember if this is the correct head sculpt that came on this Bret. This was the Defining Moments that we got, so I believe that figure is from when he fought Roddy Piper for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. I'm pretty sure that was what that attire was based off of. He's got the Hitman logo on the back there, which I think is cool because it's different from Bret's typical just figures and attires that we're getting. It just strays away from that black and pink scheme a little bit. Formula wise, I think these work for Bret. I do like this torso choice. And again, like the legs, I said with the Ultimate Edition, I wasn't sure. I liked the bigger legs, but then since they never did it again, I'm just kind of used to this leg mold, and I'd like if they just stuck there. It's like the same size. I think it's the same as Sami Zayn, if I'm not mistaken. This one was the main Elite line, and that attire is based off when he fought British Bulldog in Wembley. I'm pretty positive they both came in the same wave, and I think British Bulldog is in his accurate attire as well, which assuming I'm correct, I thought was pretty cool. I was led to believe that anyway, when for the least when I picked it up. But outside of that, again, this is that head sculpt I said. I do like this one. They all look half decent with his sunglasses on, so I try to pop those on there. But I'd love your guys' opinions. I never thought that Jax nailed his likeness either. And I'm trying to think of some other Toy Biz figures, but like that Hitman one I had sunglasses on. So there is one sculpt that I will talk about that I think is the best, but we will get there. So there's a couple of Intercontinental Champion Brets. Next up are a couple of the first Brets that I picked up once I got into the Mattel line. So we've got the all pink and then the all black. So I believe, I got these off eBay well after they were originally released. We've got the Defining Moments, which is supposed to be the Survivor Series attire in the all black. And then the all pink one, I don't know what it was based off of specifically, but I believe that one was the ringside exclusive pink and black attack, I think it was labeled. I picked, like I said, both of these up off eBay, and we've seen plenty of releases since then, but for a while these were pretty hard to track down. The head sculpts I've both swapped off and gave him some of the newer ones. I do think that this came with the Monday Night Wars Bret, and I think that is one of the better sculpts that we've gotten. That's at the top of my list there. I really like that one. And then on the pink figure, that is from the first Ultimate Edition, and even that, it's got like the 5 o'clock shadow, so I did like that because the Jakks Classic Superstars one had that, and we don't really get that with a lot of the Bret. So I like that that was added in there, but even the likeness is still just kind of odd, I feel like, for that one. So nothing special with these. They've kept their formula pretty strict besides the little change in the Ultimate Edition. So just some older Brets, swapped out heads. They do go back and forth on knee pads. Sometimes he'll get them, sometimes he doesn't. I think I swapped on those black ones, and then I just never got around to putting pink ones on that other Bret. But typically, and for the most part, I'm trying to kind of look around here, they have started putting the knee pads on. So that was one thing I didn't like at first, but they've gone back and fixed that. So moving on. Next up, we have two Brets with knee pads, but we've got the WCW version, and then we have Bret Hart from 1996 Survivor Series, which was the first match he had after losing the belt to Shawn Michaels. He started his feud. It was before they got to the submission match at WrestleMania, but it was when he fought Stone Cold. And I love this attire because it's got the orange incorporated in there. And you don't get a lot of variation. Like I said, it's always black and pink, some sort of black and pink. Besides that Hart Foundation one that I said was in that we got a battle pack of, I thought this one was really cool, just having the orange in there. It's the head sculpt again is just kind of odd with the slicked back hair. They at least stopped doing the hair in the face thing. I don't think that was done great. I know a lot of people just kind of would cut the pieces or just get rid of them entirely. The WCW Bret, a lot of people are like, what in the world is this color? It's a weird orangish kind of pink, and it wasn't accurate, which is why we are getting a re-release of it in the, I don't know if it's Greatest Hits or from the Vault Wave. I know I saw pictures of, or maybe it's in the Monday Night Wars line. I know we're getting a re-release, and I know the pink is correct, so we are going to be getting a new Bret there. Obviously it's going to have the double jointed arms and everything. Head sculpt I think won't be a new one, but the re-release is accurate, or is welcomed. This head sculpt on the WCW one, it was the 2-pack with Goldberg. The face I think is a little bit better than that other Ultimate Edition sculpt I was looking at, but still I just not a sculpt that I just think they nailed. And then like I said, with that Survivor Series one, it just kind of looks weird. I don't even know if he has ears sculpted on the side of his head. Maybe it's the hair piece, I don't know, just didn't nail it. But like I said, the attire is awesome. Everything else about the Bret Hart figures is fantastic. If they got the likeness down, these would be A+, but until then, we'll give them a good B+. So one thing for me with the Bret Harts is that when it comes to attires, and really a lot of guys that now, with modern guys, it's like, oh, this is the new attire, his new look, I'd like this. With older guys like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, it's all about like moments for me. And these two are from WrestleMania 10 and WrestleMania 9. So the WrestleMania 10 one is the older head sculpt here with the black and pink when he fought Yokozuna and Owen Hart in the same night. Think about that one. That came in the WrestleMania wave, WrestleMania 30 wave with the Mania 14 Shawn Michaels, which I thought was an awesome set there. And I would be surprised if they didn't release Mania 10 Bret again and even make in like an ultimate 2-pack with Yokozuna or something. But then the WrestleMania 9 Bret, I've talked plenty on the channel here how I'm very nostalgic about WrestleMania 9, even though a lot of people hate it. And watching it as an adult, rightfully so, obviously, that's only remembered for Hulk Hogan politicking himself to winning the World Championship at the end of the show. But I really like this Bret attire. It's more of a magenta than a real that pink. I mean, just you can just look at the two. I really like that pink, and then it's accented with the white on the straps, and the black is kind of limited, so it's different. I feel like it pops compared to the others, so I was really excited to get that, fill out my whole little WrestleMania 9. I think I have about every figure, a figure of every match on that episode, like the Steiners, Head Shrinkers, Giant Gonzalez, obviously Bret here. I've made a custom, so I had both versions of Hulk Hogan. I've got the manager Jimmy Hart. I just, as a kid, loved that pay-per-view. I lost my train of thought here. Anyway, this Bret was the Legends line, won the WrestleMania 9, and WrestleMania 10, like I said, that was released quite a while ago for WrestleMania 30. So, a decade ago, I think. Good Lord. I'm shell-shocked. I'm gonna have to go back and verify this. Yeah, it was released a decade ago, unless I'm just tripping out and have that completely off. Anyway, moving on, we've got a couple more here to wrap things up. Then lastly for today, we have the Monday Night Wars Ultimate Edition, and then the modern kind of look for Bret Hart here, which I think is one of the better sculpts that they've done for Bret. I think it was easier, like it was a modern look. They didn't have to go back and try to make a younger look for him. They could just scan his head sculpt. So I think, or his head, his face, likeness, whatever. The figure itself is whatever. It's obviously the John Cena body mold, and then he's got a Sheamus torso, which I didn't love that they did that. I don't know why they gave him a larger torso, but then they gave him the t-shirt and everything, so it was fine. I think it was in one of the WrestleMania Build-A-Figure waves when he had his treacherous match with Vince, and then the Monday Night Wars Bret is probably my favorite Bret Hart figure. That is obviously based off the Attitude Era, like the kind of kicking off the Attitude Era, end of the new gen there. I like the updated coat that they gave, the leather jacket they gave him. It's obviously got the Hart Foundation deco on the back. And then I do like that they gave him the angrier kind of look with the kind of snarling, is that the word I'm looking for? Teeth there. Just a lot to it that I really like. Those skinnier legs, like I said, it's essentially the same thing as the pink one that we got. Just obviously this is the black look for him, and this was very reminiscent of the Jakks Classic Superstars Bret that I had. So a little bit of a nostalgia boost there, but I really like this Bret. Came in the same wave as the Roddy Piper, who I think they used the same leather jacket for. But I'm gonna get everyone back on the screen here and wrap things up. Alrighty, so here are all of the Brets I currently have in my collection, which, like I said, even though it's not huge, we've got 13 here. Yeah, I only had two growing up, and I was a big Bret fan as a kid, as most kids that kind of grew up around that time, new gen era, you would expect them to be. But still nothing compared to my dog Shawn Michaels. Nonetheless, it felt like I couldn't have one without the other. So always had a little soft spot there for Bret as well, even though my dad hated both of them and just thought Bret Hart was a crybaby. So I always, took a little influence from him. But my favorites are probably the WrestleMania 9 in that darker pink with the white, and then I like all of the Ultimates. They all have a little bit different. I do wish the splatter paint one had the same legs as the other two. That was the first one they made, so maybe they went with that and just weren't happy with it. So they switched it up. He's got the same size legs, I believe, as the Elites now, with just that different torso. And all in all, I think they all look good. You can see, I put the sunglasses on that middle one, and it looks fine, but without the glasses, when you look at the eyes, I just don't feel like any of these really nail his likeness, or that they even all look the same. I think this one is probably one of the better ones, and I told you I like that one, but nothing still that I'm just like, yeah, that's Bret Hart. So it looks more like the Monday Night Wars ones look like he's about to go sing for Pearl Jam. But nonetheless, that is going to be everything today for my Bret Hart showcase. I've got more showcases coming where I'm just going to go through some specific wrestlers. gonna probably do like an Uso one. Rey Mysterio's always one I like going through because I've gotten a lot of customs of him. Well, the Hardy Boys maybe. Once I make a few more WCW cruiserweights, I want to do one with all just them. But a lot of stuff on the to-do list, but some customs I like to get done before then as well. So if you made it all the way to the end of the video, I appreciate it. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, and remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude, out.